Okay, so here we are with another DC Multiverse unboxing from Mcfarlane Toys, and this is Batman from the Justice League Task Force line. And I'm looking forward to opening this guy up, of course, because Batman is my favorite character of anything. So, yeah, definitely want to open up Batman. So, again, like with most of these figures that I've reviewed in this subline, he's got that sort of cell shaded look. You can see they gave it a very unique packaging design with this yellow kind of sunburst behind it, and it's got the 80s Justice League logo on there, the Justice League Task Force logo at the bottom. Here's what the back looks like. We've been over the this one before with the cross-cell artwork, Superman, Flash, Aquaman, and Batman. And of course, I'm putting it together in, what I feel like is the best order to put these figures together in, not the recommended order on the back, which is just always so weird. So let's go ahead and open it up because, like I said, we've been over the packaging before on the previous two figures, which was Superman and the Flash. The Flash was actually the first one I opened up because that was the one that came with the torso. Then I did Superman because he came with the legs. And now we're on to Batman, who comes with the arms. And Aquaman has the head and the hands. Why then we'll just have the hands attached to the arms already? I don't know, but whatever. They could just have Aquaman come with the head. I think that's fine. So, like with the other figures in this set so far, the trading card is on a separate bubble from the figure stand, which I always like it when the figure stand and the trading card are on the same bubble, because then it makes it easier for me to get the trading card off. But thankfully, it was pretty easy to get off this time anyway. So, if I could just get the figure stand off of here, every figure should come with a figure stand. And here's the one that our DC figures come with, and much like what we're used to, it's a matte black figure stand with a glossy black DC logo embossed onto it. Let's have a look at that trading card. So here's what the front looks like. Nice piece of artwork of Batman. It is not accurate to what he wore in the video game. It looks mostly accurate, but he's got the pouch belt instead of the capsule belt. We'll see that when we get to the action figure. And it says, here's what the back looks like. And it says Batman, Justice League Task Force, data file, powers, exceptional martial artist, combat strategy, inexhaustible wealth, brilliant deductive skill, advanced technology. First appearance, Detective Comics number 27, 1939, alias / alter ego, Bruce Wayne, aka the Dark Knight, the Cape Crusader, Matches Malone. I like they mentioned Matches Malone. That's pretty cool. Base of operations, Gotham City. Occupation, CEO of Wayne Enterprises. All right, so let's go ahead and set that aside. Like I say, I like the bios on those because a lot of the times I feel like these bios they're kind of sparse as far as like telling the actual biography of the character. But these are kind of supposed to be sparse because they're more like stats, like a baseball card. So I feel like that's kind of fitting. All right, so the parts that come with Batman for the Build-A-Figure here. We have Darkseid's arms. Darkseid's arms with no hands, because like I said, those come with Aquaman. So let's go ahead and pop those onto the figure. And it's got like, you can see little ball joints that should fit into the socket that's on the inside of the torso here. So let's see if we can actually get it in. I know that these have a tendency to be like difficult to get popped in all the way on the dark side that the classic dark side, which this reuses most of those parts, if not all of those parts. I'm not sure if the torso is exactly the same. I know that the one that came single boxed, it has that the cape clasp kind of permanently glued on there, and the cape is permanent to the figure, but of course this one doesn't have the cape. But that's what he's looking like so far. He's almost done. We just gotta get Aquaman, and then we'll be finished with him once we open him up. So like the other figures in this line that we've seen before, Batman comes with these sort of blast effects that should attach to his fists, and I believe that these are, intended to look like what the punching effects look like in the video game. Batman's are blue. Superman had red, and the Flash had yellow, and Aquaman also has yellow. So let's go ahead and get him out of the package, and you can see he's got rubber tabs around his forearms, and this one's in kind of a weird way because of the way he's posed in the box. And that rubber tab actually was not even attached. So when I went to cut it, it just kind of pulled out, so it wasn't like in there all the way. And he's got one more around his waist. If I can get that. There we go. Oh, I actually stabbed him. Stabbed him right underneath the pec. I don't think that that's going to be noticeable. But he's going to have a little nick in there from now on. But like I said, I don't think you're even going to notice it. All right, and then he's got two around each of his shins. So now that I have him loose from there, let's see if we can get him out of the package. And again, he's got the cape kind of stuck through the back here, so I want to make sure that doesn't get hung up. So I'm going to be very careful as I pull this out. Now, this Batman is, a body that we've seen on quite a few Batman figures before. This is the Nightfall Batman body for the most part. And also it was used, most of these parts were used anyway for the Dick Grayson Batman Reborn figure, and the Earth 2 Robin reuses a lot of these parts. And of course, my beloved, my favorite Batman figure that Mcfarlane has done so far, the Norm Brayfogle edition, uses pretty much everything from the shoulders down. It's a different collar piece and a different head, obviously, but everything from basically the shoulders down is the same as this one. And he does have a wired cape, just like the Brayfogle figure, but obviously not quite as crazy as that Brayfogle cape is. And this Batman head is reused from the Batman versus Bane 2-pack, and you can see he's got kind of a little bit of a sneer on his face, like gritted teeth. I'd heard some people be kind of critical of this head, but it doesn't look too bad to me. I mean, maybe it just doesn't look as good with the other paint job on it. And of course, I don't have that 2-pack yet. My Batman has just this. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Just this little bit. Yeah, you can see. I kind of see it. This little bit of a white speck, and I was hoping I could just kind of scratch it off, but it seems like it's on there good. So I might see if I can very gently pick away at it with like an X-Acto knife or something. See if I can get it off. Just very gently. Yeah, I think I made it worse. Is his head actually molded in white plastic? That would be strange. I'm going to see if I can pop his head off, but it seems like it's on there fairly firm. So yeah, I tried to scrape it off, and it looks like it's just white plastic underneath. Very strange that they would mold it in white plastic. So I'll have to repaint it is what I'll have to do. So I'm going to have to find some paint that matches that forehead fairly well. So like the other figures in this line, he's got that sort of pixel type shading. And doesn't look too bad on Batman, I think. It's I like the colors. The colors are good. They're nice and it's a dark blue, but it's a vibrant blue and it pops. And you can see that the cape has got kind of a sheen to it, but it's two-toned. So it's like a darker, slightly more purpley tone on the back and a more royal color blue on the inside. Honestly, I kind of feel like it would work better if it was the other way around and the darker color was on the inside of the cape. And that way it could look more like shading, but that's just me. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. Batman can look up about that far. He can look down about that far. He can tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around at the shoulder. And it's got the butterfly joints, so the arms move back about that far and forward about that far, and can kind of move up a little bit. So there's good range of motion in the arms. Of course, he has a bicep swivel, so the bicep rotates all the way around. He's got double jointed elbows. That's about the range of motion you get at the elbows. He's got the cool Mcfarlane ball jointed wrists, and these are ones that are newer, so they're a little more disguised than just like a simple sphere. You can see it's got like some wrinkles kind of sculpted onto it, like how the glove would wrinkle up at the wrist. You can really move these wrists around any which way you want to. They're just so well jointed. And the same with the ankles. We'll get to that in a second. So Batman's got the cool Mcfarlane torso articulation. Move that around whichever way you want. You can move the waist, like it rotates all the way around, and it kind of wobbles back and forth. So you can really get him in a kind of dramatic kind of pose you want to. Batman can kick up about that far, so almost 90 degrees, but not quite 90 degrees. Close enough to 90 degrees, I think. So that leg does a little better, I think. It's the rubber trunk piece that kind of hinders it a little bit, but that's to be expected. Batman has double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. And no boot cut, but like I said, he's got that cool Mcfarlane ankle articulation, so it rotates all the way around where the ankle meets the shin, and where the ankle meets the foot. It also rotates all the way around, like so. Ankle can point down about that far, ankle can point up about that far, and it's got toe articulation just to show off. So Batman, like I said, he's got a wired cape, and unfortunately it doesn't spread out quite as far as some of the other wired capes that have come with Batman figures. I think the Adam West Batman even has a bigger cape than this one, but you can still get some pretty cool dramatic sort of poses out of it, which is good because Batman is a dramatic guy. So yeah, pretty great figure, I think. I mean, like obviously we've seen this. Like I said, we've seen this figure before, basically a whole bunch of times, and they've done a good job with it each time. And I do like the way that the pixel shading worked out for the most part. Like I said, I do wish these emblems were a little cleaner. I'd probably rather they not be as pixelated as what they look like, but they still look pretty cool. TT says, I think that body is too small for Batman. He's supposed to be 6 feet 2 inch, which is 187 centimeters. And 1/10, he should be 18.7 centimeters. Hush Batman is quite accurate. I do like the sculpt. Okay, well, yeah, I agree. So I agree that it's a nice sculpt. I don't really mind so much the height. Like it just seems to me like the Mcfarlane figures, if they do have a weakness, they tend to not be the best at having the characters to scale, if you know what I mean. Like let's see, I've got a couple Superman figures handy, and let's see how well he stacks up against this Superman. This is just the Rebirth Superman I happen to have handy, and he's about the same height as Superman, which I think technically Superman is 2 inches taller. If we hold him against the Martian Manhunter, the Martian Manhunter should be taller than Batman, and Batman's actually like slightly taller than him. So it's one of those. It's just kind of one of those quirks of the line, I guess. So whatever. I kind of feel like he's supposed to be a little more like the Neil Adams. This is supposed to be like the Neil Adams kind of body type for Batman. He's supposed to be a Bronze Age Batman, so he should be a little leaner than what the Hush Batman was, because Jim Lee drew Batman with a bit more bulk. He had that kind of Frank Miller physique going on, not quite as bulky as Frank Miller's Batman, but still kind of more in that ballpark than in the Neil Adams sort of range. So I kind of feel like you have the guys who draw Batman a little more lean, Neil Adams, Carmine Infantino, Marshall Rogers, Jim Aparo. They kind of draw the more sort of lean, athletic, but that kind of that kind of physique. Whereas, you have the others that draw Batman with a little more heft to them. Your Dick Sprang Batman, your Frank Miller Batman, your Jim Lee Batman. And then there's all kinds in between. But I kind of feel like that's kind of how that goes. So again, since this is that Nightfall Batman body, it's that sort of Bronze Age look. And that makes sense because that's kind of what Batman looked like in the comics at that time. He was still pretty much drawn in the Bronze Age style. You can see this is definitely the Bronze Age suit where he's got like the blue trunks, and it's definitely a blue and gray Batman. And it's kind of ambiguous, I think, what color Batman's suit is supposed to be in the post-Nightfall era. A lot of the times when I see figures of that version of Batman, it'll be like a dark blue and dark gray, kind of similar to the Brayfogle figure, like that shade of blue and gray. But sometimes, like with the JLA Batman, that was the repaint of the Fabok figure recently. That one has like an all black suit. So I guess it depends on how you interpret that one. But of course, the Bronze Age Batman was pretty ambiguously blue and gray, and this is a darker blue and gray even than like what we usually see in that. But I think that's partially because of how they wanted to do that kind of pixel shading. So really, the lightest part of the pixel shading is closest to the shade of gray that he had in the comics, and the blue, like I said, it's a really good shade of blue for Batman. I really like that shade of blue for Batman. So yeah, I'd say this is a pretty good figure. Like I kind of feel like I've said before, the pixel shading on these figures, they're gonna make them a little more niche than most of these McFarlane figures are. I kind of feel like your average sort of Batman figure like could just be somebody's default Batman figure, but there's not going to be as many people, I think, that want the pixelated version for their default one. But I kind of feel like the shading works better on this one than it did on Superman. Really, the main thing I think that would hold this one back from being somebody's definitive Batman is, like I said, the pixelation of the emblem. And I kind of feel like they should have just made these emblems like just clean emblems. I think that would have been fine. I think that would have looked better. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Anyway, we're almost done. Excuse me. We're almost done with this particular wave. Coming up on their next episode, we're going to open up Aquaman. So I'm going to have some things to say about Aquaman, obviously. Man, that's a really yellow trident that he has in this version. So, and then we can finally finish up Darkseid. And we'll talk about Darkseid a little bit in that episode too. So, if you want to make sure you don't miss it, make sure that you like and subscribe. All the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Batman, both this figure specifically and the character in general. I always like to talk about Batman because he's my favorite character. So I could just go on and on and on about Batman. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss out on that, again, you can always kind of like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. All right, that's it for this episode. We will talk to you next time. Bye.